We're going to go over to Birmingham, just up the road from me in London, to Sriman Vijay Krsna Prabhu, Prabhu. No, I should reference you as Prabhu. And Vijay came to Srila Gurudev in 1996, and Gurudev stayed at his house, in his bedroom, in fact, wrote at his desk, and he was got Harinam from Gurudev in 97, Diksha 99, at the Devananda Gaudiya Mat in oh, it's Vijay. It's you, Vijay.
Stayed at his house in Birmingham. Hello.
I'm so confused because it said Birmingham. I thought maybe this is a Vijay Krishna in Birmingham. I don't know. You're in Guatemala. That's totally confusing. Oh, Haribol Prabhu. Oh, I feel so, that makes me laugh. Okay, we're not going to Birmingham. He's from Birmingham originally, but he's traveled the entire world, and he's quite right now in Guatemala, which is if you go to America, go down into Mexico, south to Mexico, but don't go as far as Venezuela. You'll get to Guatemala along your way. Vijay Krishna, he's well, everyone knows him anyhow. I'd say he doesn't need much of an introduction, but Gurudev instruction to him was always be in kirtan, which I have to say he has kept that instruction extremely well. His band is the Kirtaniers. I'm a little confused because he's actually got a shirt on, which is quite unusual. He's a beautiful singer, a wonderful exponent and propagator for Krishna consciousness. And yeah, Vijay, I'm so happy I actually arranged for you to speak today, didn't I? It was me.
Yes.
Oh, was it Ramananda, or did Ramananda arrange it?
Oh, Ramananda did, but I figured it was you two together. You know.
Oh, that's why I'm so confused. I thought, because there's sometimes there are people in Birmingham, sorry, I don't necessarily know who they are. And because it said Birmingham, it didn't say Guatemala. So
right.
So over to you, Prabhu. It's all yours. I'm very excited to hear your sharing. Haribol.
Haribol, good to be here.
Yeah.
Namashishtam manamapi sachiputram matra surupam rupam tasyagrajam murupurim maturim goshtavatim radha kundam girivaramaho radhika madhavashyam prapto yasya pratita kripaya shri gurutam. Jai Shri Gurudev, all glories to all the Vaishnavas. It's very lovely to be here as part of Srila Gurudev memories. And yeah, as different from some of the other programs I've done, I was considering what to speak about this morning. It's very early here in Guatemala, just 7 a.m. now. Yes, and interestingly enough, it's wonderful you had Nimai Chaitanya Prabhu on, because I myself this morning was thinking about how really I had multiple savers with my time with Srila Gurudev that he personally arranged for, or, you know, had me do essentially. And yes, the majority part of it was, you know, my kirtan seva, and that was based on him giving me an inspirational instruction order at a very young age to always be in kirtan. And that was pretty much the best thing you could have told me as a child. Yeah, meeting Gurudev as a child and feeling that from almost like that innocent childhood perspective of the world, and then seeing someone that I could only compare to something like an angel, you know, come into my life and carrying this amazing aura, just Gurudev's presence, my God. You know, there's being in close proximity to him, you'd feel almost, it was on the verge of like, okay, it would sometimes inspire like, possibly even like nervousness, but it was in the face of something so lovely, pure, compassionate, and beneficial that it was kind of, yeah, it ended up sometimes being mixed. And yeah, feeling and seeing that at a very young age. And, you know, back when I was much more innocent, and it was just so wonderful. And coming into kind of Gurudev coming into my life at that Yeah, that particular time, I don't know, it was really, really just a wonderful time, being a pre-teenager and having a handful of friends. There was only very few of us back in the day. As I like to say, you know, pretty much like me, Ramananda, and Sudevi, and a few others in the European Yatra Vraj Mohan. A few others were in part of that kind of the original European, you know, Nemi Maharaja's family also, of course, Vrinda. These are like my childhood friends. And being exposed to Gurudeva at that time was just really quite special. And yeah, the interactions that came about along the way over the years, you know, growing up, I'm growing a few inches tall as the years go by, from more or less, yeah, that 1997. One of my fondest memories is Tunbridge Wells, 1999. Back when, yeah, the festivals and the community was much smaller. Gurudev came out for a little walk, and back in the day he used to do that. He'd just come out and just walk around and talk to people sometimes, or, you know, just for a short while. And he came out, and I walked right up to him, and yes, he said, Vande Ham Shri Guru, and I was like, I was only small. I was looking at him. Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam. I completed the sentence, but then I got a bit confused on a part of the verse, and then he said, Om Gyana Timiranda, and then I said Gyananjana Shalakaya, and then he said Vanchakalpa, and I said Trubhischa Kripasi. He was kind of just saying the first few words of each of these pranam mantras. And oh, it was so wonderful. It was just such a lovely interaction. Although there's so many interactions over all these years, I must say, again, I spent 14 years knowing him personally, basically from that young age until 2010 when he entered Samadhi. But then, yeah, he said to me at that particular time, he said, I want you to learn all these things, and then you will come with us. And he pointed into the air with his mala in his hand. He said, then we'll reach right into the sky. He said, we'll fly everywhere together. We'll go everywhere together. So this is him telling me and basically in the best possible way, ruining my life, and letting me know that like he wants me to come and one day travel and help out with the party and be part of Gurudev's real original, you know, crew with Brajanath Prabhu, Madhav Maharaj, Naveen Krishna Prabhu at the time. Vrinda Didi, Tunga Vidya Didi, Pundarik Prabhu at the time also was there on tour, you remember. And that was the most exciting, wonderful thing that was it. Like, I was like, that is my objective in life now, is to get it together, get out of school, get my school done. I'm only 12, 13 years old, but I'll get out of school as quick as I can and get on tour with Gurudev. And I think that particular tour was probably only 13, 14. And I remember being at Astasaki Mataji's house in Watford at the end of that particular 99 tour. And I approached Brajanath up the stairs, and I was basically kind of saying, okay, well, Brajanath Prabhu, like, Gurudev's let me know that, you know, he wants me to come and join the party and help out and do kirtan and learn all things. And then my heart broke when Brajanath pretty much said, oh, well, your father, he can arrange tickets. And then I'm thinking, my dad's got 6 kids. He's, you know what I mean? And that's not going to happen anytime soon. What to speak of on top of the, you know, my age. And that bugged me a bit. The next year, 2000, we're in Wales. 2001, I'm going to fast forward now to Birmingham. 2001, 2, 3, Srila Gurudev stayed in our house. We didn't put him in the Gaudiya Mat, which is the temple that I grew up in. By the grace of Asha Maharaj, especially, who founded the temple, and pretty much the year I was born. Well, the ISKCON temple was established the year I was born in Birmingham, 1985. But then by 2001, we had the Gaur Govinda Gaudiya Mat, which was this beautiful, evolved community from what was an original ISKCON preaching center. You know, due to politics and whatnot, now it, you know, opened up Gaur Govinda Gaudiya Mat, which I'm extremely grateful to have been part of, which was named by Srila Gurudev. And I find it fantastically wonderful that, you know, it's a Gaudiya Mat temple named after an ISKCON guru. think about it. Gaur Govinda, Gaudiya Mat, Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he was our original kind of Shiksha Guru. And as far as I'm concerned, he's somewhat responsible for delivering me and a handful of the Birmingham devotees and community to Gurudev. So by 2001, Gurudev, was in the house. I'm tying in this thread of me trying to get on tour now. 2001, Gurudev's in the house. It was just me, my father, Nanda Sutta Das, and Gurudev in the living room and talking. And Gurudev, my father basically told Gurudev, oh, Gurudev, he wants to, run away to the mat. He wants to go to the mat. He's not finished with his school yet, and he's only 14 or 15 or something like that. And Gurudev basically, said, finish your education. And so I thought, okay, we've got a couple more years to go. But I was so close when I was about 14, between the ages of 14 and 17, when I finally got to leave home and go and join Gurudev on tour. I must have tried to run away from home multiple times. Really, like I just wanted to be in India with my guru, with Gurudev, and living as a Hare Krishna, a Vaishnava. Really, that's all I wanted to do. And I remember trying to run away from home and all that stuff. Literally, I remember getting on the phone one day. I must have had an argument with my father or something. I'm like, that's it, I'm going to India. And I called up like this really cool, this good little travel agent for really cheap tickets to India. And I was like, £240, one-way ticket to India. Got it. Okay, I've got £212. That was literally, I remember I had £212 saving at the time. Thinking, okay, I'm gonna maybe run away from India to India. Well, after the third, let's say these 3 kind of visits to my house that Gurudev had over the years, I also had the wonderful opportunity of massaging Gurudev many, many times, including at my own home and in Berlin, in USA, in Australia, in India. Very, very grateful and fortunate. I was thinking about this morning when I was doing my refreshing in the bathroom and showering and whatnot. I was thinking, oh, actually this massage connection also that I got with Gurudev is actually in one sense my internal seva, coming to handle Gurudev's body. And again, I started quite young, and must have been 2002 or 3 Berlin. I may have been one of the earlier times also, I'm not sure, I forget. Very nice instances with that. And as Nimai Chaitanya Prabhu so nicely said about Gurudev's body being, not ordinary, to say the least. His hands were extremely soft. His feet were extremely soft, even though we knew that when Gurudev was somewhere between our ages as Yashoda, that he used to run on Govardhan Parikrama, completing full Govardhan Parikrama within 3 hours, and head back to the mat in time for Mangalarti sometimes. Like, astounding, the kind of stuff Gurudev used to do with those feet. Bhakta pada duli ar bhakta pada jal, bhakta bhukta avashesh eitin sadaner bal. This verse by Krishna's Kaviraj says that Bhakta Pada Duli, that the dust of the feet of the Vaishnava, the Bhakta, and Gurudev was traveling all around the world, bringing dust on his feet from which place? Govardhan. So Gurudev's in all these places carrying little specks of dust from Govardhan all around the world with him. So that's Bhakta Pada Duli. And the Duli also of the Bhakta, in this case of Gurudev, means actually also those who are very dear and near to him. That means us also. In one sense, we can be seen as the dust on the feet of our Bhakta, means Gurudev. Ar Bhakta Pada Jal. The Jal means the water. So that means the water that washes the foot of the Bhakta. But the water, one thing Gurudev told me in a massage, actually some instruction must be there. That's also our tradition, that we don't just get caught up in stories and sentimentality, but Gurudev always wants us to tell some Tattva Siddhanta when we're making Pushpanjalis and offerings too. So I must share one thing he told me during massage tour in Berlin, must have been 2002 or 3. First of all, he was actually quite tired on this particular tour. And it was the last time they flew him from Asia all the way to Europe. It was just too much. He was jet lagged, and I remember arriving in the apartment and yeah, Gurudev coming out of his room after having taken a nap, and he was, I'd never seen him so tired. It was a little bit annoying to me, I might say, really. It wasn't sad. I wasn't going to be sad. It was actually annoying. I'm like, why is my guru so tired right now? You know, a little bit of that mood. He came back from the bathroom. I was standing in the doorway to the room where we were going to massage him. And I used to be a bit chubby. You probably remember you showed I had a bit of pudge back in the day. You know, just a bit baby fat. And Gurudev walks through the, walks into the door and he looks me up and down. And he says, have you come to, he comes up close, no glasses, and he's bushy eyebrows, and gorgeous eyes. Have you come to break my legs? In other words, you know, give it some good energy, you know? So anyway, as the massage is going on, he started asking us. He said it was myself, Jiva Vishnu Swami, and maybe one other, I forget who right now, maybe Krishna Balaram, or anyway, as we were massaging Gurudev, it was just some of the young boys then, actually, we were all teenagers, and he said, so when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing the Gundicha Marjan, the cleaning of the Gundicha temple so that Jagannath can go at Rath Yatra time and go and sit in the temple, the Bhaktas, Mahaprabhu and all Bhaktas are cleaning the entire temple of Gundicha. And Gurudev started asking us, he said, so, as Mahaprabhu and all Vaishnavas, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar and all are removing the sticks and the rocks and all sorts of things inside the temple room, what are these? He started asking us, he was testing us almost, or actually had this way of instructing us based on saying, well, what is it? He wanted to, you know, very stimulating. And some of us, we answered between us, oh, these are like anartas within the heart. And if Mahaprabhu coming into the Gundicha temple is cleaning the heart, like cleaning our heart, first removing those large things like branches and rocks and stones and all these things. Gurudev said then after that the first cleaning is complete, then the bhaktas, they do even more fine cleaning, and then even more fine cleaning. With the finest cleaning, finally they're finishing with, they're pouring water all over the temple, even the ceiling of the temple. Gurudev said, what is that water? As I just quoted this verse about 3 things that make our sadhana strong. Bhakta Pada Duli, Bhakta Pada Jal. So this Jal, I'm kind of taking the water into this Gundicha temple now that Gurudev's talking about, and saying that the Harikatha, the sweet words, the songs and the glorifications of the name, forms, qualities, pastimes of our beloved sweet Lord, that Harikatha is equivalent to the water that is cleaning between all of the fine cracks within the temple walls and the marble and whatnot. The finest cleaning is going on. Mahaprabhu is even going through with a toothpick, practically. And this water is being poured everywhere, keeping everything absolutely spotless under the guidance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that was one particular wonderful, like, coming together of my internal seva, which is the massage. We were massaging him during this time when he was talking to us about all of this. And another quick massage thing. One time I was massaging the feet, and he said out loud, "Oh, he's polishing my feet." So I thought, oh, I better go in a bit harder. But anyway, that was a wonderful instruction. It was very, very powerful. And that particular leader, you know, getting the instruction during a time of very close seva with Gurudev. And I remember other times that, you know, I used to bring friends also, and maybe we can say like Gurukulis, and, you know, so I used to bring different people to see Gurudev. And one time in Navadvip, it must have been Gaur Purnim 2007. Gurudev had this thing with me over the years that he actually wanted me to be a brahmachari. He saw me as a brahmachari. Actually, he called me his brahmachari, even though I was too stubborn, reluctant, and proud to accept the sacred saffron cloth. I came to the Sangha quite early, and even though I was born technically into ISKCON, and in the saffron cloth can change without such a big deal there. My original education when joining our Gurudev Sangha was that actually this saffron cloth is very sacred. So I always kept that mood with it, and and managed to refuse saffron cloth with Srila Gurudev at least 7 times. until yeah, more or less 2007, when I let him know that I wanted to marry Saraswati. So what was I gonna say? Let's see. I was going to talk about something in Navadvip. And yes, just Gurudev had a way of encouraging us and possibly even embarrassing us in the best possible way. And I can speak for myself, is that, yeah, he practically embarrassed me a few times with a push and an encouragement for me to do and utilize this form of life to the best I possibly could. And to always be engaged in seva. And he was very happy when he found out that, even, you know, before I got married, I'm married by him, by the way, in Govardhan, 2007, that I was making an effort, even though I wasn't a saffron brahmachari, because being a saffron brahmachari, you get pretty well taken care of. And I, you know, because I wasn't doing that, I had some independent, which was quite a taboo thing within our Sangha in a sense, but I used all of my effort, my money, my resources on actually either meeting Gurudev in different places around the world, or yeah, subjecting myself to just different sevas. I remember in particular, he was happy when he found out that I was helping to manage the LA temple multiple times between 2005, then again 2006, and 2010, finally, his last visit to Los Angeles. I was managing the temple during that time. And I got to invite quite a few people to come and take darshan from Gurudev for the last time, really, because, I mean, it was definitely evident that in 2010 that he was letting us know. And I knew him since I was a child, well, practically a child, a lot longer than most of the Sangha. So I knew Gurudev, and I knew when he was feeling healthy and vital. And I could see now in 2010, I was feeling, okay, well, it's time to prepare, you know. And yes, another thing Nimai Chaitanya Prabhu touched upon was the amazing, powerful, deep morning walks, especially, I must say, in California and Ojai, as you said, really. My last official interactions, the last 5 interactions, one-on-one with Gurudev, were all over the course of those morning walks in New Braj, Baja, and also my final question was in Ojai, at the house of Brajesh Prabhu Krishna Bhamani. And just as Nimai Prabhu described Gurudev sitting on that excuse me.
Take your time, Vijay.
Excuse me. Yeah. My last one-on-one with him there at Krishna Bhamani's house and on the swing. It's quite a famous and well-quoted history. My last question to him. Not everyone always wants to quote and say who asked the question, which is fine, of course, even though they totally know who it was. It upsets me a little bit sometimes. But yeah, I said to Gurudev, how do we know? I looked him, you know, I was sitting just at his feet, very close, practically just, yeah, by his feet as he was swinging. I said, how do we know when Gurudev is happy? And there was some silence, and I remember seeing his eyes move around, and he was thinking about how to answer, actually. He was thinking about it. And then after a few seconds, you know, some short silence, he looked down at me and said, because you'll be happy. And in everything you do, you'll be happy. You know, so that's my barometer. That's how I know if Gurudev is happy. If I am happy, there's something there. It's not about my material happiness or whatever, anything like that, but rather I know that if my sadhana is being done, I'm seeking association of Vaishnavas. Gurudev made me happy. So I beg all Vaishnavas, especially those who have favor to my Gurudev, please bless me that I can keep him close. Excuse my crying here. Can't help it sometimes. What can I do? And anyway, so my objective is to make Gurudev happy, and not so I can be happy. Actually, I'm good. Gurudev's happiness is because his happiness was also the happiness at the world getting their greatest, reaching its fullest potential. His happiness is based on the desire of Thakurji's compassion. He's the embodiment of Thakurji's compassion. And his happiness is that all jivas, eventually all jivas will get some touch of bhakti. That's awesome. You know? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there's some memories, and I don't know how much longer I've got to speak.
Oh, Prabhu, that's so beautiful. You don't have to fill up the whole time. You've already. I feel like you've already given us a week of sharing. You have another 6 minutes, but I mean, it's so beautiful.
Oh yeah, just wrap it up. And yes, the how to make Gurudev happy is another thing he said to me quite early on. Holland 2005 at the festival there. That was also one of the times he'd asked. This is very symbolic of me accepting that anurag, we can say. What is anurag? It's this very, very powerful type of affection, and it's beautiful. And Gurudev offered me that cloth, which was symbolic of a commitment to their lordships, you know, all of our lordships in a sense. So if I didn't accept that cloth kind of physically, my intention is to accept it somewhat figuratively, we can say, accepting that shade of color that he adopted for his physical body, that color of the meeting of the sun and the sky, which almost produces Thakurji's own colors, the golden, the red and the blue that nature itself provides for us as stimuli and inspiration for us to remember God. That particular saffron that is coming from the sun at that time has been adopted by our Gurudev and all pure Vaishnavas that are giving absolute, they're married to Radha Krishna in this life by wearing this cloth. So anyway, yes, Gurudev said to me, when I said, oh, Gurudev, I do not feel that I have the, you know, the power, or whatever I said, excuses, he said this to me that time in 2005. We should have the mood, how can I serve my Gurudev? And I love that. I love it. That's what I want. So, yeah, it's the, you know, if Mirabai, the great princess devotee, once said, if my guru comes before me and if Krishna himself comes before me, which one shall I pay pranam to first? I'm confused. For my guru has given me Krishna and Krishna has given me my guru. I'll probably end up taking Gurudev because I can trust Gurudev. We don't know about Krishna. I'll take my Gurudev's hand. If Krishna was also directly there, well, that's safe with Gurudev. So yes, that's some memories and inspirations for you all. I hope it was, yeah.
So beautiful, Vijay. So beautiful. I was doing a little calculation because I was thinking how wonderful it is to have met Gurudev when you were just 11 years old. And so you've known Gurudev, you're 35 and you've known him for 25 out of your 35 years. I mean, that's, yeah. I mean, I wasn't old when I came to Gurudev, I was 26, but to come at 11 years old is incredible. And you had 15 years with Gurudev on the planet as well, you know.
Yeah.
Amazing, absolutely beautiful. And I feel that a little image came in my mind. You know, when you take a pH test of acid and alkaline, you put the litmus paper in the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking how, because of your nature and because you came to Gurudev early, it's like you're the litmus paper and you've been dunked in the love of Gurudev. You know, I felt that everything you were sharing. It's like you've been fully absorbed. It's in your emotional, spiritual, physical DNA. Gurudev is right in there. Like you
Sure.
can't help it. You know, you're just completely.
I can't. Sometimes
in a sense, even though you refused the brahmachari cloth 7 times, part of me feels like you never refused it at all. Actually, in reality, because you're living it in your own way according to your nature. And I loved how you interspersed Vani and Vapu. You made it very intimate and very real. Like I felt Gurudev all the time, because there's a lot of Vapu speech in your offering, but at the same time, a lot of Vani in there as well. I've actually written it down. How can I serve my Gurudev? I mean, in a sense, that's the first thought one can wake up with every morning, and the last thought at night. How can I serve my Gurudev? And you encapsulated, like Gurudev used to always ask his sannyasis, what's the meaning of bhakti? Anyabhasta sunyam gyan kamadhyana vitamana kalanya krishna shilam bhakti uttama. And that's basically what you encapsulated. You said, because the Gurudev told me, you said that you're pleasing your Gurudev if you're happy, and I want my Gurudev to be happy, and I can tell if my Gurudev is happy if I'm happy, but I'm not interested in my own happiness. I'm not interested in my Gurudev's happiness.
No need.
That was absolutely perfect. By the way, I was just interested to know, how many tours did you do?
From 2003, I was basically on the administration of Gurudev from then onwards. I arrived in 2003 into Kartik, and by the time every Kartik finished, I was either Gurudev was telling me directly where I was going and what I was doing, or Brajnath Prabhu or whatever. So
did you take that 212-pound ticket? Did you take it?
No, I didn't.
That's brilliant. I want your dad to come on and just give us a bunch of Vijay stories. That would be pretty funny. It sounds like you were quite a handful.
I was a handful. He took me to Navadip Dam. I must just want to say one little pinch about my time with with Gurudeva, but in Navadip in the early days, it was quite a thing. There was no Westerners around. There weren't even Delhi Wallahs, Northern Indians at the parikramas in the early days in Navadip. Yes, being there and being exposed to a take of history that really was very limited to the peers that are in our sangha. Pretty much, as far as I know, there's only 4 or 5 of us who got to see Devananda of the youngsters, or the second gen or whatever. There's only a small handful of us that got to be exposed to the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti Devananda Gaudiya Mat-like experience, and it was quite something. It was quite, I must say, seeing Srila Maharaja there, my Shiksha Gurudev.
Do I not count in that because I'm too old? Because I'm in that, yeah.
You're just about honorary, bro.
Your generation, no.
Did you get to see Devananda Gaudiya Mat?
Yeah, I was there in 1997.
Oh, so you got to see it too, and
yeah, totally. I remember going past Srila Maharaja. I remember the times out in the field when Premananda Baruji made all that incredible prasadam for 10,000 devotees, and you had the triumvirate there. You had Raman Maharaj and Tripakar Maharaj and Gurudev all there.
That's the thing. I mean, again, you showed it too of one of the rest. Actually, we can say for the Sangha members, really, because the Sangha, the whole Navadip situation kind of got semi-split, more or less 2004-5. So those of us that had, and most devotees in our Sangha always emphasize going to Kartik, because they get to go to India for 4 weeks to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But Navadip was for the quick in and out crew who would go sometimes in 10 days or 2 weeks. Yeah. And because I was in school and, I had to kind of do it quick. And so, we had the great honor you showed of seeing that piece of history there. It's quite something.
Yeah, it is.
Seeing Param Gurudev's 3 chiefs, Sevaks, sitting there, just holding that energy together. Remember, there used to be more than 10,000 people.
Yeah.
at that Devananda Gaudiya Math
How they
Parikrama.
served the prasadam was just like,
Oh my God. And seeing all those, remember the staunch sannyasis sitting there? And
it was biblical, actually. It was biblical.
Absolutely, completely. So for me, almost like my big zenith, everything, because Navadvip is it's where I want to go eventually, you know. The Navadvip with Param Gurudev Samadhi there, with Vaman Maharaj, Gurudev Turka Maharaj, that me taking Diksha there, that's like my ground zero. That's my ground zero, really. Beautiful. And just to kind of circle it around, I mean, taking Diksha in front of Param Gurudev by Gurudev's hand early on in 1999. And then arguably one of the most emotional moments of my life is taking Srila Gurudev's divine body once he'd entered into the samadhi state of consciousness, taking his body to see Param Gurudev in the spot of Devananda Gaudiya Math. That was just
wow. So you were with Govi, must have been right next to you.
Govi in 2010 when we were taking Gurudev. Yeah, sure. Govardhan was there.
Right there. He was right there. Because he's born the same year as you.
He's just 1 year older. It was pretty much, there weren't many of us there. It was me, Govi, and Madhukar was there, but there weren't many, and then some of the girls, but there weren't many of us there for that kind of like last sight of taking Gurudev.
Well,
and actually putting
I remember I was in Argentina at the time. Hey, are you going to be able to sing for us?
I'm not sure.
Are you shy?
I'm not shy. I'm not shy. I suppose I'll sing. Last time I remember being too loud. I'm not sure if I have to adjust.
Oh, no, we'll sort that out. Don't worry. We've just got one more speaker. It's on a recording. It'll take 15 minutes. And then we'll come back to you for some kirtan. Is that all right? Okay, yeah, sure. Thank you for your really heartfelt. I mean, it was such a surprise. Because it said that I'd never associate you with Birmingham. For me, you're just Vijay. It's like you don't need a location. I actually thought because you'd taken Harinam in Holland, I thought it was one of Ramananda's Dutch friends that was living in Birmingham. So I kind of made someone up in my head. Yeah. Just happened he was good at kirtan. I was like, okay, who's this guy? It sounds interesting. So it's made my day. So